the preliminary task we used 2 cameras, which meant we didn't have lighting continuity. So this time we only used 1, which meant we had more continuity. And also the fact we were filming outdoors meant we had more light. Also, this time we recorded sound separately, which meant we had higher quality sound compared to in our preliminary task when it was slightly tinny. During our final product, we learnt about planning in more detail, such as researching the horror genre, so our final product was more stereotypical of a horror film. We also learned to adjust the level of sound effects so that it didn't take away from what was actually going on or wasn't too loud for the audience, compared to in our preliminary task where it was too loud at times. Also, in our preliminary task, most of the actors read off a script, which was obviously noticeable as they kept looking behind the camera to where someone was holding cue cards. So this time we didn't read off a script, which meant it was more natural.
Okay, there are a variety of different things that I have learnt since filming the preliminary task, one being the use of sound. In our preliminary task, the interview, we used 2 different cameras which made the sound uneven. However, in our final piece, we used a Zoom H4n, which meant that the sound was even and we didn't have any problem with using 3 different cameras.
In the preliminary task, we made the mistake of only using 1 location, and this was because we only had 1 location available to us. We were filming within school times, so it wasn't really realistic for a chat show. So we changed this when we went to do our final task, which was at St Andrews Road, which we chose because it was an abandoned and creepy and fit with the genre of our piece. And we went out and did that at Easter time, so we had lots of time to film. And I feel like this really helped with our final task in comparison to the preliminary task in terms of shooting time. I also feel like I've learned a lot about the planning stages involved with the final task. With the preliminary task, we didn't put as much effort into the presentation of our planning, rather in the final task we used different presentation software like Amaze and Powtoon to be able to make these really cool animations and presentations. And I think this is more representative of our work. And also directing on the final shoot was a lot easier than the preliminary task, because with the preliminary task we were following a loose plan, where rather than on the final task we had a shot list which we could use, and it was quite accurate, so we knew when we were going to shoot and what we were going to shoot, so it was easier to be able to be in the right mindset to direct the actors, and they understood what they were doing too at the time. I feel like all of these really helped us in comparison to our preliminary task.
Looking back at our preliminary task, one thing that I noticed is we didn't use very effective locations. This is because if you look in the background, you can clearly see that it's just a classroom. When I came to doing my opening, we decided to use a forest. This is because it's much more conventional and it looked much more authentic.